Get ready, because here's your host, Tyson Mutrux.
Good morning. Welcome to the Guild Live Show. I'm Tyson Mutrux, and I've got a really fun show today. We're going to be talking about bananas. We're going to be talking about a hidden edge that some of you may already have, but something you can develop if you don't. I'm going to give a tip of the hat to someone. It's actually not a tip of the hat. It's going to be the opposite of that, but we're going to talk about that in a second and how it can affect your brand. We're going to talk about, speaking of brands, a big brand split in the Houston market. And we're going to be talking about one thing a day that you may want to adopt this approach. To the first thing I'm going to get into is bananas. And I have heard a lot about Nano Banana. I don't know if you have. This is something that has been touted quite a bit over the last week. It came out right before the last week's show, and I didn't know enough about it to really talk about it. I know enough about today to actually test it out for us. I thought that this would be a fun thing where I have not played with this at all. I wanted to go in with this thing to say, okay, how easy is this thing to use? I'm doing it from within Google AI Studio. There is, I had to look this up because if you look up Nano Banana AI, there is a scam site. Okay. Watch out for that one. I was almost scammed when it comes to Nano Banana. So just make sure you're using Google's product, Nano Banana. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm clicking here, try Nano Banana. So generate an image of a banana wearing a costume. I'm going to do something a little bit different. Let's see. Let's do something maximum lawyer-ish. Create an image of a superhero named Max that is a lawyer. Use the colors. I'm going to get the colors, our exact brand colors wrong. Forgive me back up for this. But, ooh, you know what? Okay, I want to make sure. I thought for a second I had not pushed us live. But, okay, so, but forgive me back because I'm going to get these colors wrong. But use the colors purple and coral. All right. And let's see. We're going to, on the superheroes costume, put the words maximum lawyer. All right, that's what we're going to do. I want the superhero to have a cape because I like Superman. Here we go. Let's see what happens here. Here we go. Here's your superhero, Max, the maximum lawyer. All right. And how about that? Okay, pretty cool. He even has this. He has a briefcase here. He's got. I guess those are purple and coral. He's got this. I don't know, this cane looking thing with. Looks like it maybe shoots electricity or something out of it. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Apparently, the capability is even greater, where you can change small things in it. Let's see how true that is. Change the image so that the moon is a sun. Brighten. Actually, we're not even have it do that. I want to see how specific it will go, because apparently that's where the power is that it will change very small details without changing anything else. Do not change anything else, because I think that OpenAI's image creator is very, very good. The thing it does not do well, though, is change elements within the image. It is very, very bad about that. But let's see how it does. Here we go. Because I've created a few social media posts where one of them I turned my suit into an American flag. It did a really, really good job. Oh, okay. So check this out. It changed only that. That's pretty impressive. That's something that, for those of you that are just listening, it only replaced that. I'm looking at both of them. Okay, here, image. So that's the one with the sun. And then let's go back to the one with the moon. Wow, very impressive. There might be some other minor details that I'm not noticing that have changed, but I don't see anything else that has changed. Very impressive. For anyone that is, designing a logo, anyone that is doing small things when it comes to firm photos, there's lots of things you could do this. Man, ideas are endless. This is pretty cool. I didn't think it would even be as good as what I just showed you. Pretty good. I'm going to do one last thing. I want to change this photo. I'm going to go back. One last thing. Make the image look real. Let's see what it does with that, and see if it does anything wonky with it. Let's see. This one's taking a little bit longer because the other ones were more of like the comic book style. Let's see what happens here with this. So it didn't do a very good job with that one. Let's change it. I want it to look like it's a real person standing on the building, because I don't want it to look like a comic book. Because what it did is it still looks like a comic book. I'm guessing. I guess never mind. I've got plenty of tokens. I was gonna say maybe I was gonna run out of tokens because I haven't used this, but it looks like because of a bunch of tokens already in Google AI Studio, because we pay for one of the higher subscriptions. I thought maybe I'd be running out of tokens, but yeah, it looks like I've got plenty of tokens. It didn't do a good job with this when it comes to changing it to make it more. It still looks like a comic book. I think it's funny. It's got a little gavel on the chest. Did not realize that before, but yeah, I think that's one of those things where it's not doing a super great job of that. But that, setting that aside, it did a really phenomenal job. So let's get on to our second story. And this is about a hidden edge that some of you may have, some of you may not. We shall see. And this is an article from Psychology Today. The name of the article is 3 Habits That Set Super Performers Apart from Others, Why Some People Achieve More, and How Science Explains Their Hidden Edge. It's really cool and just insight that I thought some of you might find interesting. Key points of the article: there's nothing magical about super performance. In fact, it boils down to 3 simple habits. And this is why it's one of those things where even if you don't have these habits, these are things that you could adopt and could help you quite a bit. Super performers set transformative goals, not transactional ones. That's interesting. They prioritize actions based on returns and leave space for exploration. Okay, that's excellent. This is something I've been trying to focus on more lately, based on returns. And when you think about like going to the gym in the morning, like this morning, I'll be honest with you, I struggled getting out of bed and go to the gym. But what I focused on was, okay, what am I going to feel like after, long term? How is it going to affect me when it comes to going to the gym, working out regularly, all that? So I was actually focusing on the returns and not on like how bad it was making me feel. Because I'm still tired, to be honest with you. But it was one of those things where wasn't feeling it, but I do feel way better than whenever I was, in bed contemplating canceling with my trainer. Feel way better. All right, so here are the 3 habits. Number 1, they set transformative goals, not transactional ones. The secret to why The Secret worked, The Secret, that's the show. It's just such an interesting thing. If you've not seen The Secret, do yourself a favor. Go watch The Secret. Even if you think it's funny and hokey, go watch it. It's worth watching. It's 20 years old at this point, but it's worth a watch. I think you can watch it for free on YouTube. You should do it. You're back on track here. Secret to why The Secret worked for your aunt. And everyone on Instagram who haven't stopped talking about it since they read it years ago, read it. I watched the video. I didn't read it years ago. It's nothing to do with the law of attraction. The universe is most decidedly not rearranging itself to grant wishes based on our inner monologue. What's actually at work here is the equally magical power of goal orientation. That's why they have you do a vision board with it too. Research backs this up with remarkable consistency. Researchers like Elliot T. Berkman, who have explored the links between neurosciences and behavioral change, have found that when goals are tied to identity rather than external outcomes, we recruit stronger motivational circuits in the brain to work with us. What's more, there's plenty of evidence of how identity linked goals engage in both reward pathways and self-regulatory networks, making us far more likely to persist in what we set out to accomplish over time. In other words, saying, I want to run a marathon because I am a runner, recruits a very different psychology machinery than saying, I want to run a marathon to lose 10 pounds. Oh, so very, very interesting. The first pulls up motivation from you, from who you believe yourself to be. The second relies on external incentives that fade as soon as the circumstances change or you accomplish what you have set out to do. So it's interesting. Whenever I was talking about prioritize actions based on returns, this morning I was basing it on something a little bit different than what they're talking about there. So I wonder whenever they get to that, what they'll say about it. But number two, they work backwards with consulting level precision. So management consultants aren't usually praised for changing the world, but they are known for one trick that super performers intuitively share, working backwards to get to where they need to be. The way it works is deceptively simple. Once you've identified your transformational goal, trace every step needed to get there until you land where you are today. What needs to be true 1 year from now, 6 months from now, next week, today. Each step becomes a rung on the ladder, which you can start climbing today. It's interesting. So I remember years ago, Stephen Lefkoff and we had a phone call, and he was really struggling with vision. And one of the things I did was I asked him early, in the very, very beginning, and we were starting at the end. Okay. You're retired, you're at the end of your career, all that kind of stuff. And tell me, what time do you get up in the morning? What are you eating for breakfast? We get into the really, really nitty gritty details. And then the goal was to work backwards from there. All right. I find that to be a great stress relief, but also helps kind of guide me if I'm sort of struggling with my vision, if I'm kind of, it's like, okay, well, is this actually doable? What we're trying to achieve, all that. I'll kind of go back and reverse engineer it. I find that to be if you've not done it, a very helpful tool. So I think what they're talking about here is awesome. All right, I'm going to skip the rest of the text on this one. I'm going to get to number 3 here. Super performers prioritize actions based on returns, including exploration. So the final habit is so simple that writing it down seems almost naive. Super performers spend most of their time on what actually delivers returns. The Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, tells us that a small fraction of our effort usually produces the majority of our results. Economists have been quantifying how this applies to everything from loan delinquencies to stock returns for over a century, and leaders from Steve Jobs to Mark Zuckerberg have extolled the practice when applied to personal performance. Once our transformative goals are set and the path to get there is backwards mapped, prioritization becomes straightforward. All we need to do is work on what drives the highest return toward the identity we're building. That usually means shelving what is merely urgent or pleasant in favor of what is actually important for the goals we've set. And that's where it really gets into what Jason Selk talks about when it comes to, focus on that one thing, that most important thing right now that's going to move the ball forward. That's really what it gets into. So I'm going to get into this paragraph right here, but there's a nuance here that often gets missed. Prioritization doesn't only mean doubling down on what's proven. It also means deliberately making room for exploration. Google's famous 20% time was designed for exactly this. There are plenty of founders that followed side quests to create billion-dollar products. So I do like the fact that they've built in the idea that you can try other things. So you don't just have to be working on that one thing. That one thing might be doing a little bit of exploration. So I find that to be helpful. All right, let's get into and bear with me. Hopefully, it's not coming across on the audio, but I am suffering from a cold, and it's causing me to breathe a lot out of my mouth, and I feel like I'm breathing a lot into the microphone. I apologize if it's coming across on the microphone, but I figured I'll tell you, let you know why that is coming through. So I apologize if it is, but that's just what I'm dealing with today. This next one I want to get to is this really bizarre story of this CEO. It's a Polish CEO. If you've not heard about it or if you've not seen it, there is a guy. So we'll watch the video, but this CEO, he steals his head from this kid. I guess he doesn't steal it from the kid. He rips it away. It's this tennis player, and I don't know the name of the tennis player, but this tennis player is going to give this hat to this boy, and it is then taken from the boy. So what's happening is the tennis player doesn't realize it. So the tennis player is trying to sign a bunch of autographs. He reaches up with his left hand, is looking at someone else. He thinks he's handed because he's handed the hat to the kid. He is reached up. He's looked else. He doesn't realize that the guy has reached in and grabbed it. So if you didn't see it, you got to watch this. So boom, snatch. He's like the guy just snatches it right away from the kid. Okay, real jerk move, and then puts it into his wife's bag. I don't think his wife even realized what happened because she's like filming other things. And then it's weird. The weird thing after that is it looks like maybe what has happened is that the kid has let this guy borrow his Sharpie or something, and because it looks like the guy's handing the Sharpie back to him. It's a weird, such a weird thing. But here's the problem. Here's why, as business owners, you need to be very, very careful. Natural, and this is from an article on Entrepreneur, where naturally the video went mega viral, and internet sleuths quickly identified the culprit as I'm going to screw this name up, Piotr Piotr. I'll call him Piotr. I don't care if I'm screwing up because he's a total jerk. Sazerac. I'm like, I may be close to that just because of the drink Sazerac, but the CEO of a Polish paving company on Monday, Sazerac apologized for the incident unequivocally in a post on Facebook. Okay, so what makes it bizarre is his original apology. If it is correct, it is wild. Let's see if this is it. And okay, here we go. In connection with the incident that occurred during Kamil Majarak's match at the U.S. Open, I would like to unequivocally, and you can tell I'm not a tennis fan, apologize to the young boy, his family, all the fans, and the player himself. Let's see. Just send the hat back. Yada yada. I want to say clearly, neither I nor what was coming on the situation switching me on any other platform. Okay, so this is what's interesting. Early on, I saw a post about that was done by someone. Apparently, it was a spoof, and it was not accepting responsibility whatsoever. It made him look really, really bad. Clearly, it doesn't sound like he had not done that. However, here's the problem: he did not react quickly, and so someone else did, and then they posted for him, and then his name was being so. This happened a couple days ago. And then the next day he hadn't responded, and then someone else responded for him. And so he was getting just dragged through the mud. So there's a couple things here that I wanted to talk about. First of all, you've got to be careful what you do because, I mean, like it or not, many of you are content creators. You just are. You have videos on the internet. You are representing your companies out in public. And if you don't act right, things like this could happen. They will write stories about you. You'll make yourself, you'll be on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and everything. Other thing is that you have to be very, very quick to react. Okay. You have to be very, very quick to make it right, apologize. And It seems like this guy did a really good job of when he did apologize, he made it right. He sent the hat back to the kid, all that. Um, he took full responsibility as he should have done. Who knows? Maybe the guy was drinking and just wasn't thinking right. You never know. So I'm going to give the guy a little bit of benefit of the doubt, even though it's a real jerk move what he did. But you have to be very, very careful what you do out in public. It's all imagine everything's being recorded, and then everyone makes mistakes in life. Everyone does. That's just what happens. You have to. So the part that made apply to most of you as opposed to the first one. I don't. The vast majority of people that are listening to this show, you're not going to be acting that way. If you get into a situation though that maybe not the same thing, you have to act fast and you have to own it, take ownership of it, deal with it before someone else does. Because otherwise, people will run with the narrative and you'll be screwed. So that's the lesson there that I want to get into. All right, the next thing is there's a big brand split. I don't know a whole lot about this firm, but I did stumble on this article and I wanted to talk about it. They have some what caught my attention were the billboards. The name of this is from Chron.com, which I'm I guess is maybe like the Houston Chronicle or something like that. Houston Newspapers LLC. I don't know, but the name of this article: Houston's iconic billboard lawyers are headed for a split. Anthony Push revealed in April that he had expelled Nguyen from iconic Houston law firm from the iconic Houston law firm. A months-long legal battle ensued, and it looks like this was from. It's by Gwen Howerton, Texas Culture Reporter, and if you're just listening to this, there's a picture of these guys on this billboard. It's avocados at law, and their heads are on avocados. I guess I'm guessing they're playing on avocado is what they're playing on, avocado at law, but avocados at law. There's probably some sort of joke there that maybe if you speak Spanish you would get, but I'm guessing that's what I was thinking. Avocados. If you're in the Houston area and I'm off base, let me know. Let me know in the comments. So the Push and Win law firm, known for its ubiquitous law billboards, appears to be no more. A year after being embroiled in a suit that featured allegations of financial misconduct, Houston's well-known billboard attorneys are once again fighting in court, and this time they may be split for good. In a petition filed last week in Harris County Court, lawyer Anthony Push of Houston personal injury firm Push and Win made an explosive admission in court. He had expelled partner Chi Hung David Nguyen from the firm earlier this year. Push alleges that Nguyen broke the company's founding contract agreement and conspired to defraud the firm, among other allegations. Whew, big allegations there. That's not something small. Push and Win is a ubiquitous presence in the Houston area. Billboards up and down the Gulf Freeway put the avocados at law right in your face. One depicts them as the main characters from Brokeback. One depicts them as the main characters from Brokeback Mountain. Others split across highways with "We Push" on one side and "You Win" on the other side. The fight began in April when Push and his father, Gerard Push, requested and were granted a temporary restraining order against the business partner and fellow lawyer Nguyen, alleging that Nguyen violated a memorandum of understanding agreed upon in August 2024. Chron reached out to both Anthony Push and David Nguyen. Both declined to comment through their lawyers. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So the 2024 lawsuit alleges that in 2022, Nguyen attempted to register the firm's iconic slogan, "We Push You Win," under his own name. Ooh, so that maybe that's what started all this. At the same time, the suit said that Nguyen was routinely disparaging the other partners to employees and began trying to recruit clients and employees to a new law firm. Ooh. That suit was later dismissed without prejudice in 2024. No reason was given at the time. They put up a billboard at the time joking about the whole thing. Everything appeared hunky-dory until April. The restraining order, as well as the supporting documents filed by Push, revealed that things were not peachy behind the scenes. So very interesting. It's a shame that that's something that had to happen when it comes to it's weird how sometimes you get firms that are doing really, really well and sometimes money gets in the way, sometimes greed gets in the way, and things like this happen. It's a sad situation. Be very, very careful. Make sure you have your operating agreements locked down, because things like this could happen. All right, finally, let's get into our final story today, and this is one we're going to be talking about, um, the one thing a day. And I was thinking about this, where um, I want to be able to, you know, be more present with my kids. So hopefully you get something from this idea. What I was thinking was, okay, what I would like to try to do is learn one new thing a day for my kids, and for Amy, my wife. For those of you that don't know Amy. And so I was thinking it would be really, really cool every day, even if I don't accomplish it, right? I'm asking questions where I'm trying to figure out one new thing about them, learn one new thing about my kids, each of my 3 kids, and Amy, a day. And I started it, and it's something where it's forced me to get out of my phone, get out of my laptop, get out of my head, and actually focus on them and listen to what they're saying and follow up with questions as if I were doing a depot, where I'm listening for certain things. I'm looking for verbal cues. It's been very helpful for me. And I'm hoping it's going to be something that it forces me to be a little bit more present. I've got like this goal whenever I'm sitting there. I think sometimes we're just kind of sitting there hanging out, and your mind starts to wander, because we are business owners and we're attorneys, and we got court next week, or you've got a big business meeting, or you got overhead payrolls coming, whatever it may be. And you're all thinking about all these different things. And sometimes you need something to kind of bring you back in. And so for me, that's been pretty helpful. So hopefully that's something that will be helpful for you. All right, that's all I have this week. Very close to selling out Max Law Con. So get your tickets, maxlawcon.com, if you've not gotten them yet. By the time this show airs, because this is live in the Guild, but by the time this show airs to everyone, I don't know if we'll have any tickets left. Make sure you go. I know that the Guild, or the Mastermind Day, is sold out. And so there's no more tickets to Mastermind Day. That's sold out. But if you want to go to Max Law Con, make sure you get your tickets, maxlawcon.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Our next mastermind in New York City is sold out. But don't worry, there's still time to get your tickets to the Mastermind and Max Law Con in Nashville in October. Max Law Con is 2 days of immersive learning, powerful insights, and meaningful connections, all designed to provide actionable strategies you'll take back to your firm and implement right away. No fluff, just real talk and tangible takeaways you can implement immediately. Go to maxlawevents.com for more details.
I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. We're known for my style and identity.